An article on CEOworld.biz. Well, it's 5 business lessons learned from hiking the Appalachian Trail. Today we're going to go over that article a little bit. I'm JB Gunner, aka Teardrop, and this is New to the Wild. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go.
This is Teardrop, and welcome to New to the Wild.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, aka Teardrop, and this is New to the Wild, or The Legend of Teardrop, whichever one you'd prefer. First and foremost, let me say this. Thank you to everyone that supports this channel and supports the Gun Squad, whether it be on PayPal or Patreon. Look, man, without you guys, I could not and would not be able to do this each and every day as often as I do on the variety of channels that I do. So thank you guys very much. If you too want to join the Gun Squad and support what it is we do here, the message that we bring to the table, and some of the information, feel free to hit those links down below. With that being said, if you're new here, subscribe. Go ahead and bang the bell. That way you can get notifications each and every time I drop a video, which I do all day, every day, on a variety of channels, with the exception of Wednesdays and Thursdays when I'm busy getting my dick sucked. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to this story from CEOworld.biz. And what it is it says 5 business lessons this person learned during hiking the Appalachian Trail. Now, I want to give a disclaimer at first. This article is not going to do very well for a lot of you liberal sacks of shit. Why? Because you motherfuckers will never be CEOs or any kind of business owner or anything. So if you're one of those people, you know, the hippie types, carry on. This video isn't for you. This video is more for the conservative types. You know, the successful people in the world, the producers of this world. I'm just saying. So if you're one of those people, feel free to continue watching. Scroll on down. Maybe you can pick up a thing or two. Let's go ahead. I know I insulted some liberals. Oh, big deal. Fuck them. They can go run off to the trail. Good. Most of the liberals ain't around anyway right now. They're doing long hikes and living out of gear boxes and shit like that. You know what the hell I'm saying. All right. CEO World Magazine, as you can see right here, 5 business lessons learned hiking the Appalachian Trail. And I can tell you, I learned a lot when I was hiking. Period. I don't know if this guy made it the whole way, but we're going to find out here. We're going to read this article together for the first time. There are a few days I will remember with more clarity than the day I went bent down to gather water from a stream in the Appalachian Trail's 100-mile wilderness and realized my filter was broken. What's more, gathering enough water to avoid dehydration would now require using a hand pump for 90 minutes a day for 8 straight days, while simultaneously trying to swat away man-eating mosquitoes. Very true. And I was out of insect repellent. Jesus. It was at that moment, just a week into a multi-month hiking adventure with my son Eric, I realized how lessons from life in the wilderness directly translate to the many challenges I'd experienced in the business world. As a longtime sales executive for both large and small companies, I'd been in more make-it-work situations than I could count, many of them involving limited resources and a need for speedy decision-making. Man, that's crazy. This scenario wasn't much different, except instead of patching up sales snappers, Eric and I had to figure out how to drink clean water without getting swallowed by carnivorous insects. The solution dawned on us quickly, and for the rest of the 100-mile wilderness, one of us would pump water while the other used a baseball cap to swat away the bugs. It's good move, teamwork. Hiking the entirety of the Appalachian Trail in one go, called a through hike, took us many months. By fall of 2018, Eric and I reached the southern terminus of the 2,200-mile journey. We crossed 14 states and climbed the equivalent of summiting Everest more than 17 times. Finishing the hike was a bucket list item for me, and I'm proud to have had that experience with my son. But now that I'm back to work, I'm continuously flooded with memories of life on the trail and the lessons that translate into both worlds. Now, I agree. You do constantly remember it, but sometimes you gotta, and I know this just as much, you gotta get back to focusing on what it is you do best, especially if what you do best is making money. Listen, the AT and long distance hikes are really cool, and I want to get back out there and I really want to engage in it again as well. But for people trying to be successful in life, it's a weird transition. It takes a lot and it's hard. And then you gotta go back and get back to doing what you do. And then you're still thinking about the trail. It's a wild ride, no question about it. Here are my top 5 trail to business lessons. He's got 5 of them. Proper planning makes audacious goals achievable. And I agree with this. In fact, I've had hiking partners in the past. They're like, why do you plan so much? Why do you plan so much? Well, the answer is the business world. The business world taught me to plan. Whenever you have to run your own business and day to day, you have to plan everything meticulously. And you're not going to reach a goal if your goal is not there to begin with. You can't just start in March in Georgia and be like, my goal's Maine. I guess you can, but it makes it a lot more difficult. You need to have 36 mini goals, which is about how many sections there are on the AT. He says, after dreaming about completing the AT for 40 years, I spent 6 months preparing before setting foot on the trail. This included building a hike plan, a spreadsheet with daily miles, elevation change, average grade, water access, etc. Acquiring equipment and researching how other thru hikers successfully had completed the trips. The mere creation of a plan, even if it wasn't followed down to the mile every single day, was crucial to our success. It helped us anticipate challenges, think through how to meet those challenges, and gave us confidence when surprises arose. It's the same in business. When pursuing ambitious goals, starting with a thoughtful plan significantly increases the likelihood of success. A plan gives your team a sense of purpose and direction. It provides a stabilizing force when adversity and challenges arise. It creates milestones and a sense of progress that encourage continued effort when the days get long and the work gets hard. Both my business and personal experiences confirm that starting with solid plans puts you and your team in the best position to achieve goals and deliver in a predictable, consistent fashion. Persist past your doubters to achieve your vision. While I was excited to finally pursue my lifelong dream, announcing my AT thru hike was met by some skeptical reactions. Now, I can agree with this because on YouTube, being on YouTube, you deal with a lot of that type of shit, right? Wide eyes and comments like, oh, really? The doubters had good reason. Of the roughly 5,000 people who attempt the AT each year, only about 25% successfully finish. It's very, very accurate. The fact that I was 55 and recently underwent knee surgery did little to boost their confidence. Oh, and since Eric did not graduate high school until May, we had to make our thru hike southbound, or Sobo. Sobo thru hikers are less likely to succeed, only 17% make it, since they start with the three of the hardest challenges on the AT. Day 1 involves climbing Mount Katahdin, one of the toughest climbs on the trail, and is immediately followed by 8 to 10 miles in the 100-mile wilderness. The longest stretch of AT with no towns, resupply, and support. That stretch is followed by the Presidentials in southern Maine, where grades average 15% daily. Jesus, man. This meant that before we even developed our trail legs, we had to endure the worst of the AT had to offer. To be honest, even I had some doubts in those early days. It was interesting to see how those doubts changed as we progressed down the trail. I regularly posted hike updates on my LinkedIn profile and on our website. As Eric and I passed the halfway mark, we noticed more engagement on the posts. People were getting excited, starting to believe, and cheering us on. Our persistence turned doubt into relief within our own minds and with those following our adventure. Persistence is equally powerful in the business world. Often an entrepreneur or leader has a vision that others do not yet fully embrace. Exactly, like becoming a YouTuber. With persistence, doubts are overcome, and skeptics, especially having 24 different channels. With persistence, doubts are overcome, and skeptics become advocates toward achieving the goal, just like it did for us on the trail. Eric and I stayed focused on our goal, finishing the entire AT, and that vision helped us persist past all doubt, self-inflicted or otherwise. Damn. Improvisation is an underrated skill. I agree with that. Most startup companies launch with limited resources. Founders are forced to work with what they have until customers come on the scene. This stage is both exciting and nerve-wracking, but it is helped by a little improvisation and a lot of innovation. Lack of resources can actually be a benefit for early stage companies. Instead of relying on teams of people, CEOs are forced to understand every aspect of their businesses, down to how best to clean the office fridge. And those learnings help them to become more assured, empathic. It's not empathetic leaders. For Eric and I, our best improv moment was the water filter incident as we worked to survive the 100-mile wilderness. Until that day, we had been gliding along the trail, chatting along with fellow hikers, and excitedly snapping photos. Everything felt like it was crashing down the minute our broken filter threatened to take us down the path to dehydration. Realizing we could solve the problem by working together, one person filtering, the other person swatting flies, was a game changer. It built our confidence that we could overcome challenges, even with the limited resources we carried on our backs. Very, very true, sir. Next lesson. The best outcomes are always preceded by hard work. Now, this is where a lot of the Appalachian Trail hikers, they're not going to be able to relate. Let's be honest. Majority of them are liberal sacks of shit that's never worked hard in their life, never will work hard. You know, they're part of the hippie crowd, or they may work hard in their college track, or whatever the case may be. But in the real world, a lot of these kids are never going to work for shit. They're going to be with their mother until they're 25, 26 years old, because that's what liberalism teaches them. Liberalism teaches them that that's okay, and that socialism is good. In fact, if you ask most people on the Appalachian Trail, they all have this socialist type of mentality. It's us. We're a community out here, and we help each other out. When you need food, here's food. I need food. Do you have food? It's a weird thing, right? I like meeting capitalists on the trail. I just really do. But the truth of this is, just like the business world, it takes hard work to get what you need, what you want. And with the Appalachian Trail, the best outcomes do result from your hard work. Trust me, once you've hiked a 15, 20-mile day, when you get into camp, it feels good. Not every day on the AT was a struggle. Some days were easy, like when Eric and I walked through Pennsylvania. It was flat, the sky was often clear, and we were able to move quickly. But thinking back on our trip, our fondest moments, the moments where we felt the most reward, happened during the toughest sections. It was on those steep mountain climbs where we had the most fun, where we had to figure things out, where we grew as hikers and as people. It turns out the most rewarding views were always preceded by the hardest climbs. I found the same thing in my business life. The jobs where I developed and learned the most were roles I enjoyed the least. I understand. Whether hiking down the trail or working up the ladder, long-lasting rewards come from hard work and powering through. That's true, and that's a lesson I need to actually take on to the AT. It's too easy to quit out there, man. And maybe because of some of the recent things that's happened to me in my business life, maybe it's changed who I am. Like, maybe I really could finish this thing now. You know what I mean? Because, trust me, I just keep on trucking in my business life, and it's successful. It's working out well. Remain grateful for everything, even the simple things. And I'm hoping that I still do that in my business life. I'll never forget the moment Eric and I arrived at a hostel after the 100-mile wilderness and turned on a sink tap. Water at the ready. No shit. Listen, even toilets you appreciate. You're grateful for. Genius. This, of course, had never been my attitude before pumping water by hand for 8 straight days. But it taught me something. Even on the roughest days, there are always things to be grateful for. Soon after I vowed to start every morning by listing 10 things for which I was grateful. This practice changed the remainder of the hike for us, and we stopped taking things for granted. A powerful example occurred on a long, rainy stretch through Pennsylvania. We got up another rainy morning, with it 22 miles that day. Instead of griping, I acknowledged the rain's ability to bring cooler temperatures and keep the bugs and snakes away from us. Even in adversity, there are blessings. This principle translates directly to business and to life, because everyone has bad days. I believe it is the most important to express gratitude on those days. By doing so, it lifts both your spirits and that of your teams, and reminds you there will be better days. As leaders, we set the tone for our teams, and an attitude of gratitude is extremely contagious. I agree with that. Through hiking the AT was harder than I expected going in, and much more rewarding than I expected coming out. I will forever savor the powerful bonding and memories with my son, and the satisfaction of achieving an ambitious lifelong goal. I was surprised by many parallels between hiking the AT and business experiences, and now apply those lessons learned as I pursue my next adventure. I'm happy to share some of those lessons that readily apply to business, and if you're planning your own AT adventure, remember to check your water filter before you hit the 100-mile wilderness. No shit. Outstanding write-up by this man. His name is, let's go check his name again. His name is Scott Amore, writer at CEO World Magazine. CRO for Nextiva's Global Growth Strategy. I'm excited about it. That's pretty fucking cool, man. That's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys gained something from it. I'm JB Gunner, aka Teardrop, and this is New to the Wild. And trust me, he's not lying. A lot of the things you pick up on the Appalachian Trail you can translate over into business and regular life. That's why you don't necessarily have to hike the whole thing to gain from it. But my recommendation is that you do. Because, trust me, there's nothing I would love more than to be back out there trying the journey again. But unfortunately for me, business has to come first. I'm JB Gunner, missing the Appalachian Trail. If you guys like what I do here and you want to support this channel, links are down below. I appreciate you guys very much. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this article. And no, don't start all your liberal crying. You're so mean. Shut up. Go file a fucking, go file a bullying lawsuit or some shit. Liberals ain't shit.